This demo will show how quick and easy it is to create a robot in robotbuilder. We will be using actual Pisco Tetrix components and the actual Pisco Tetrix Getting Started guide for the design of our robot. So we begin by adding an empty object to the project. This will be the actual chassis for the robot, the highest level component in the hierarchy. So I've added a flattened colored cube to the project called Workbench, and I'm just going to be using this as a frame of reference for when I'm working here. So we're dragging and dropping components onto the robot chassis object, and as you can see, they appear at the location for where we've put the empty chassis. So this is going to come in handy for when we're building the robot, because all the parts will go to the same spot. So here we have the first component in place in the correct orientation, and now the guide calls for a 144mm angle brace. So to make things easier, we look at it from the top view and drag and drop, and as you can see, this component, the angle brace, again appeared at the same spot as the empty chassis object. So now it's just a simple matter of doing some rough alignments and setting the rotation correctly. As you can see in the properties panel, you simply specify an angle and it'll rotate it on that axis. And here we're just roughly aligning the components from the top. We'll do a more fine grain alignment a little later. And now we add the connectors, the 2-inch standoffs. So again, just a rough alignment here. And now we switch to a different perspective here and enter what's called orthogonal mode in the camera. This allows us, as you can see, to precisely align the two components here. So we grab the standoff, we drag it down over the hole that we want it to be aligned with. And we can do the same thing from above to get it precisely aligned. As you can see, there's still a bit of a gap there. And there, now we have it nice and precisely aligned exactly on the hole where we want it. So since we've already taken the time to align one of those standoffs, we're just going to simply duplicate that as it's already aligned and drag it over top the correct hole. And there we go, both the standoffs are in place. And in the hierarchy view at the bottom here, we simply drag and drop the standoffs onto the component that we want it to be connected to, and voila, they're connected. And now we just align the angle brace here. As you can see right through the holes, so it's nice and aligned. And so from the top, we just have an alignment there. And there we go. Whole thing from the first page of the Getting Started guide is nice and constructed here, all nice and aligned. And we just drag it and drop it onto the channel, and it's nice and connected. Just going to rename this so that we can keep track. And as you can see, when we move the channel now, everything moves with it because it's all connected. So we don't actually use connectors in the simulator here, no connector components. We connect everything virtually with the hierarchy view. And after a bit of time passes, about half an hour, I've got the full chassis constructed here, as you can see. Now it's time to make the wheels, so I'm just going to quickly do a time-lapse thing here, constructing the wheels, and duplicate both of them, and just place them on the chassis there. Align them in orthogonal view again. Make some omni wheels. I've got one, simply let's just mirror it and get the other one. Okay, now let's place these on the chassis. So align them in orthogonal view again. Keep them nice and aligned, and now some finer grain alignments. We place these bushings on, as per the guide here. And now let's start constructing the Lego NXT mount. So basically, just dragging and dropping these components into the correct location. Again, saving some time by duplicating them. We can use orthogonal mode to precisely align everything where we want it. Drop over the right holes there. Now we put the mounting brackets for the NXT onto the chassis. Align them in orthogonal mode. Got one aligned, duplicate them. And now let's actually connect the NXT to the chassis. Nice and aligned there. We just drag it and drop. And it's connected. Alright, now we add the motor and servo controllers. Again, this is done time-lapse, just a little bit quicker. Don't want to. Alright, add the battery. Orthogonal mode, keep it nice and aligned. Put the switch assembly on. Add the switch. Alright, and that's the second part of the getting started guide. So total time elapsed is 1 hour and 15 minutes. Now we're going to construct the sensor head. So of course, just taking the pieces, dragging them and dropping them, aligning them in orthogonal mode. Everything's very simple here in robotbuilder. Down the road, as an added feature, we're hoping to have just snapping components, so you don't have to even go into orthogonal mode to get them aligned. Just automatically align with any components that are compatible. Here we're putting the mount for the sensor head onto the chassis. Alright, and now we're just finishing up with the sensor head, adding the mount, aligning, duplicate this. Alright, so lift it up, align it in every dimension here, simply drag it, voila. That's the entire thing, just over 90 minutes, the entire getting started robot is complete.